Good afternoon, Finn fans, and welcome back to another episode of AT Fins News. I know I'm sorry I'm in the car, kind of doing some traveling this weekend, but I just wanted to stop in real quick and talk about this upcoming Miami Dolphins versus Buffalo Bills game. We're all super excited. We're about 24 hours away from game time. Everyone in this Dolphins community has been talking all week about this game, coming off the big win against the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm just dropping this video to discuss my keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins in order for them to pull off this huge victory against the Buffalo Bills. I know it's not going to be easy. The Bills offense is potent, even with some of their defensive players out. I believe there's 4 of them. There's Ed Oliver. I believe Micah Hyde's not playing. Jackson's out. He got hurt last game on Monday Night Football with the scary neck injury. Jordan Phillips is out. Those are key pieces to this Buffalo Bills defense, but their offense is still going to put up points against our defense, guys. Josh Allen is on another level right now. He's trying to get that MVP award. But without further ado, let's just get right into my keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. Number 1 is going to be, I know the Miami Dolphins are going to have a tough time running the ball against this Buffalo Bills D. I don't think we're going to be successful at it throughout the game, but I think they're still going to need to keep the Buffalo Bills defense at bay and kind of guessing what we're going to do. We can't just go out and throw the ball 50, 55 times a game. So we're going to have to stay consistent in the running game. We're going to have to get timely big runs from this rushing attack. Kind of like how we did with the Ravens. We didn't really have success at the beginning of the first half, at the beginning of the game. But during the second half of the game, we did get more consistent running game. We got that huge run at the end of the game with Chase Edmonds to get us down to touchdown range. So that's what we're going to have to do in this game. I'm not saying I would love for Most or Edmonds to have 100 yards rushing in this game, but I just don't see it happening. But we got to keep our team balanced. I think we'll be most successful if we run the ball 20, 25 times, have Tua throw the ball 25, 30 times, because that means we're not behind in this game and trying to play catch up like last week. So if we can have timely big runs, get some first downs, and keep the pass rush at bay, I think it's going to be huge for the Miami Dolphins. My second key to victory for the Miami Dolphins is going to have to be our defense. We had a rough week last week. We all can attest to that. They didn't play their best game against the Ravens. But if you kind of look at the overall game, it wasn't actually as bad as we thought it was. The first quarter, our defense didn't give up any points. Even the only points they had, obviously, was those special teams in the first quarter, that first play of the game, kickoff return for the touchdown. I know the Ravens had the long drive in the first quarter that pretty much took up the whole first quarter. But our defense stand pat. We bend and we don't break. We got that 4th down stop at the goal line. They didn't give up any points in the first quarter. Like I said, besides the special teams play. Then if you look at the second quarter, it was probably the worst quarter of Dolphins defense I've seen in the last 2 years. With this defense, we gave up 21 points. I know we had the interception by Tua that gave them the 7 at the end, but they still had to drive all the way down the field and put up those 7 points with I believe it was a minute 33 left in the game, right? So we're gonna have to be more consistent in that aspect, where we can't just let Josh Allen torch us one quarter, 21, 28 points. We're going to have to be consistent throughout the game, which I believe our defense is going to be feeling some type of way. How they performed, how they performed last week, they're not happy. Xavier Howard had one of his worst games as a Miami Dolphin, in my opinion. He got burnt by Bateman. He was playing a lot of off coverage. Maybe that's a testament to his that's probably a testament to his injury. He's nursing a groin injury, as we know now. He's questionable for the game, but I believe he's going to play. But he's going to want to step up this week. It doesn't get any bigger, like I said, than the Buffalo Bills. If you're not excited for this game, I'm already anxious. It's not even close to the game yet. It's a little over 24 hours away. It's going to be a tough time for us to, as fans, to even go to sleep tonight. But for a player like Xavier Howard, arguably the best player on our team, offense or defense. I mean, you can argue Tyreek Hill, obviously, Jalen Waddle, but Xavier Howard's been here throughout his whole career. We know what he's about. He has pride in his play. I expect him to come out and put on a show for us as Dolphin fans. He's going to show us why he's one of the top 100 players in this league, and I expect him to have a way better game than he did against the Ravens, and even with him nursing his hamstring injury. But as far as our defense collectively, we're going to have to get a better pass rush than we've had the first 2 weeks, obviously. We can't get pressure on a quarterback with organic pass rush, but we need like a Ogba, we need Jalen Phillips. That's kind of the most disappointing thing throughout this in the first 2 weeks with this defense is Jalen Phillips. We expected big things from him. He's really not showing out yet, but again, they have him dropping back in coverage a lot. That's not his specialty. His specialty is putting his hand in the dirt and pass rushing against the quarterback. And we need to get him doing that more consistently in order for him to show his skill set, what he truly is capable of. So we need a big game from Phillips. We need a big game from Ogba. Christian Wilkins has been a dog the first 2 weeks. I expect nothing less this week. I expect him to go out and have a huge game. We need Raekwon Davis up the middle, plugging up holes. We need our linebackers to play a whole heck of a lot better than they have the first 2 weeks. I know Jerome Baker, I think, is leading the team in tackles, but they're empty tackles. They're down the field. We need them to make plays in the backfield. We need Jerome Baker to spy on Josh Allen, and kind of like what we did whenever we played Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it was last year, the year before. Whenever Mahomes was scrambling around, you see Jerome Baker knife through the middle and sack him for like a 30-yard loss. We're going to have that type of play from Jerome Baker this week. And just Landon Roberts, he's going to have to step up. The Bills don't really run the ball consistently. They're more of like their run game is like their short curl routes, their hitch routes. They have screen passes. We're going to need Landon Roberts and Jerome Baker to be on their A game. And then as far as our cornerbacks go, well, we already talked about Xavier Howard, but Kehu, our rookie that we didn't even know who our second cornerback was going to be after Byron Jones went out on the PUP list for 4 weeks. This rookie, undrafted, we found a diamond in the rough. He's been playing really well as our second corner, especially last week. I think he's rated the number 1 cornerback right now. I know it's a small sample size, second week of the year, but in PFF rankings, he's number 1. We just got to keep him playing great on the boundary. It's going to be a move up in competition, obviously, with Gabe Davis on the other side of him, most likely. But the real reason I like him being our boundary corner, because we can move Nick Needham back where he thrives, the slot corner. So overall, I'm just looking for this defense to have a much better game plan by Boyer as far as handling this Buffalo Bills offense, because this defense isn't going to want to give up 38 points like they did against the Ravens. They're going to try to hold the Bills down. And remember, guys, last time we played Buffalo in Buffalo, going into the fourth quarter, it was only 10-3. So our defense has some type of success against Josh Allen, but we're going to have to play all 4 quarters or it can get out of hand quickly if our defense isn't consistent. And then my third key to victory, I mean, it's obvious, guys. It's the play of our quarterback. With the Buffalo Bills, like I said previous, with their injuries and their secondary, they're pretty much starting their 3rd and 4th cornerbacks this week. They're starting their 3rd string safety this week. Jordan Poyer, he's a really good safety. He's pretty much like the quarterback of the defense, but with them not having Micah Hyde, that they're so in sync with each other, they don't even have to communicate on the field. They know where each other's going to be depending on what scheme they're running. So that's going to be a big issue. So our quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, is going to have to step up. I have all the confidence in the world that he will this week, especially with their DBs out. I expect Tua Tagovailoa to expose this secondary because of their injuries and just to take advantage of it. And it's football, guys. I don't want to hear any excuses about, oh, well, the Dolphins only won because the Bills' defense is hurt. Everyone in the NFL deals with injuries. We're dealing with it right now. Xavier Howard dealing with a groin injury. Byron Jones has been out the whole year. Teron Armstead dealing with the toe injury. We already got Austin Jackson that's on the PUP list on our line. So everyone deals with injuries. It's not just the Bills. And you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, whenever we had 3 years ago when we had that squad that just came from bagging groceries, and we had all these pickups, waiver wire pickups, because we were getting rid of all of our talent. None of the teams that we were playing were feeling bad for us, so we shouldn't feel bad for the Bills because of their injuries. It sucks that they're not going to be at full strength, obviously, but at the end of the day, we still got to go out there and compete against Josh Allen. Their offense is pretty much fully healthy. They're getting Gabe Davis back this week. Their offense is still potent. And if they have 3-4 guys out on their defense, I mean, they're the Super Bowl favorites, right? They're the team with the most depth on that side of the ball. So let's see your depth in action. But I do expect Tua Tagovailoa to have a day against the Bills. And I'm expecting, I believe even in Vegas, like his prop bet is like 240 yards passing. I expect him to get over 240, especially with the secondary being so beat up and having all the weapons we have. But he's going to have to play a solid football game. This game, we cannot have turnovers. Of course, if he's going to throw 6 touchdowns, he can throw 2 picks because it kind of offsets itself. But I expect him to have a solid 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions this game. And if he does that, then I don't expect anything less than a Dolphins victory tomorrow. My 4th key to victory is going to be our receivers. Our receivers, I know they're dynamic. Tyreek Hill, I believe, is leading the league in receiving yards after 2 weeks. I know it's a small sample size again. Jalen Waddle's number 3 in the league. Jalen Waddle has, 3 touchdowns already. Tyreek Hill has 2. I expect them to get wide open against this secondary that is starting 2 rookies on the boundaries. And I understand they're physical. They can prove that they're great cornerbacks in this league, but going against arguably the 2 fastest receivers in the entire league, it's going to be a problem. I expect them to get multiple yards of separation, making it easier for Tua to see those guys open and for him just to hit those players. I expect Mike McDaniel to have a game plan of even short passes, screen passes to these guys, getting them in open field with blockers out in front, with these young cornerbacks, a young safety, trying to stop them in open field. Because, guys, it's a problem to stop Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in open field. So I expect short screen passes. I expect slants, making one guy miss on the outside and taking it to the house, or going deep, burning one guy, even though they're probably going to play over the top to keep everything in front of them. But Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have both showed that they can still take over a game and blow the top off a defense, even if they're trying to scheme against getting burnt. So, I mean, that's my 4 keys to victory. My last and final key to victory is our coaching, man. I mean, I know we have a young coaching staff, Mike McDaniel, rookie head coach, but from what we've seen so far, you got to put respect on Mike McDaniel's name, guys. I mean, this guy is scheming guys wide open. I know last week against the Ravens, there's 2 blown coverages, but I feel the reason why there were blown coverages because of what Mike McDaniel's doing pre-snap with all the motioning. If the DBs aren't communicating properly with these motions, what they do is it confuses the defense on who they're supposed to cover, if they're in zone, if they're in man, because they're worried about all the movement pre-snap. And it's something we haven't seen from the Miami Dolphins in 20 plus years. We don't see these pre-snap, so many motions going on every play almost. It's like that. So if Mike McDaniel, I believe, has this game circled on his calendar. I think one of the reasons he got hired was because of a Buffalo Bills game. I'm sure Chris Greer and Stephen Ross asked him, will you be able to beat the Buffalo Bills? Because we haven't beat them in, 3 years going on? So I believe Mike McDaniel has this game circled, as well as our entire team, as well as Tua Tagovailoa. Ever since Josh Allen waved goodbye to us last year, this football team wants to beat these Bills, and I'm sure Mike McDaniel is salivating, just waiting to see how his plays are going to develop against this Bills secondary that is so beat up right now. And their defensive line is a great defensive line. I'm not taking anything away from them. But with the lack of depth this week, in that humidity, in that heat, it's going to cause problems later in the game for them. So I expect Mike McDaniel to outcoach Sean McDermott, which is crazy to say because McDermott's had our number as well. But I just see Mike McDaniel just drawing up plays to get his playmakers wide open and give them the ball in space and pretty much put it to this Bills defense, because that's what the Miami Dolphins will have to do tomorrow. No matter what anyone says, the Bills are going to score points on our defense, but it's going to be our offense's job to keep up with the points that they score, which I believe is going to happen in large part because of our offense being potent this year. It's not the same old Dolphins where we're running screen passes at the 1 yard line or not putting consistent plays together each and every possession. Mike McDaniel's a different kind of breed. He's already thinking about the next possession and what he can do based on what he sees with the defense. So I believe it's going to happen, guys. I believe we're going to finally get over that Buffalo Bills hump this week. It's been a long time coming. I know you guys are all excited about it. My score prediction for tomorrow, it's going to be 34-28. Miami Dolphins come out with the victory. At the beginning of the week, I wasn't too sure, but as the week progressed and just hearing everyone, hearing the national media not giving us a chance, hearing the YouTube, the content creators talking on the Bills and Dolphins side, I just think it might be the Bills' year this year, guys, because they are really good. But I think tomorrow is the Miami Dolphins week. We're going to go 3-0. We're going to make a statement in the AFC East, make a statement throughout the NFL that we're here, we're ready, we're here to compete. But other than that, guys, drop your score predictions in the comments. Please hit that like button so we can help this channel grow. I appreciate each and every one of y'all subscribers that are rocking with me, supporting me, helping this channel grow organically. And if you're new to this channel, if you can please hit that subscribe button so we can keep building this thing from the ground up. But other than that, guys, I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm sure each and every one of you are excited. And like always, guys, fins up, baby. I'm out. Peace.